This is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the Louisiana Creoles because there is some confusion about who they are. I am not an expert on the Louisiana Creoles. I do know that there are some people who say they're Louisiana Creoles who call themselves black, and there are those who say they are not black, even though to the naked eye they look black. So I'm not the expert on them. And I just want to make the point that I don't try to make anybody black that's not black because I don't need you to be black, and neither does any other black person. Foundational black Americans, and I'm saying that, although, I just call myself a black American, but for this purpose, I'm going to say foundational black Americans, and I'm including myself, don't need any help from anybody with our identity. We stand on our own as a powerful ethnic group in the world, not just the United States. So we don't need you. We don't have to claim you. And if you look black, but you say you're not black, I don't care. And I think a lot of other black people don't care. Let's be clear about what the Creole started out being. A Creole in the United States started out being two white mixtures, white people from Europe, Spanish and French, not Latino, not Hispanic, Spanish from Europe and French from Europe. That is what Creole started out being in America. But the European men started messing with the free women of color and the enslaved women for that matter, and they started producing children. Then all of a sudden now they crowbarred their way into Creole. So now those Louisiana people who have that lineage now call themselves Creole. And so the actual white people who are the actual Creoles, I think, started calling themselves Cajuns. Now, I think they did that to distinguish themselves from the black people who had crowbarred their way in their ethnicity. So now, y'all from Louisiana, if I'm wrong, correct me. But based on the reading that I've done, that's what it was. I know that the Creoles started out just being French and Spaniards. That's what they started out being. In the television series North and South, one of the plantation owners was engaged to this Creole woman played by Leslie Ann Down, who is a white British woman, but in the series she was a Creole. And when they were talking about him being engaged to this Creole woman, I thought she was going to be some kind of mixed woman, some type of biracial. But when she came, she was a white woman, a French Creole. So that was a verification that the Creoles used to be white people. But then the black people in Louisiana who had been mixed with the white people crowbarred their way into the Creole identity. So that's how they got to be Creoles. But I came across a video of an actual modern day Creole, and he gave as good an explanation, I think, as can be given. But I want to say before I play this video, black Americans don't need Creoles for any reason because they don't add anything to our ethnicity. We are past the point where we need others to validate us. Self hating black people who don't embrace their African identity or black identity have made these people feel way more important than they should feel. Because to me, they're just a bunch of irrelevant wannabe white people taking up space. Because what have they accomplished? I don't know what they've accomplished. Mark Moriel is a Creole, I believe, and all I see in him is a very light skinned person who stays in the black race just so if anything comes down the pike for black people, he'll be first in line for it. He's not adding anything to our race, and neither is anybody else that calls himself a non black Creole. We really don't need them, and I think we need to say that as often as we need to say it. And as far as these white one droppers who call themselves Creoles, just like that Pope, We don't need you either. I don't even know any black Americans who care one way or the other whether the Pope is black or white identified, or black identified, or has one drop of African blood, or whether or not he's a kangaroo mixed with a crocodile. I don't know any black people who care, because the Catholic Church is a whole discussion for another day about the damage they have done, not even damage, destruction that they have caused Africa and African descended people. So having a black pope means absolutely nothing to a lot of black Americans. And I didn't even understand why the Africans wanted one. I really didn't. But anyway, that's their business. But let's listen to what this Creole man says.
So let's have a conversation about this whole Creole, who's Creole, black, white, all that stuff. Yeah, but let's have a conversation about it. Again, I'm not gonna lie, as a Creole person, a lot of the people making these videos are misleading y'all and misinforming y'all, and it's actually pissing me off. So let's start off with the things that were said correctly, albeit very few of them. The first of which is that there are white Creoles. You can be Creole and be white, because Creole is not a racial identifier. We're gonna come back to race and all that stuff later, because race, ethnicity, and nationality is once again whooping y'all's ass. So the first thing that is true, you can be black or white and be a Creole. That is a fact. The second thing that is true is the definition that has been given for Creole, and that is somebody being born of the colony, which just means that, hey, your family was born in Louisiana during the time that either the French or the Spanish ruled. That much is also true. Here's where shit went left. When people start saying, oh, I'm not black because I'm Creole, or oh, I'm not white because I'm Creole, that is false. And what we will not try and do is say, oh, well, race didn't exist as a concept, so I don't identify as black. That is categorically and historically false. Like, the Portuguese set up race as a concept during the 1500s. Colonial Louisiana was not a thing until the 1600s. New Orleans didn't get set up, or settled, excuse me, until the 1700s. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, race had very much been a concept before and during these times. We know this because the French also used terms, such as Pase Blanc, which means white passing, or gens de couleur libre, which means free people of color. So they very much had a notion or a concept of race and color during their rule of Louisiana. And if they didn't, then why did they set up different structures and systems for people that fell in different racial categories? Why were there different laws and structures set up for people that were black and white if there was no such thing as black or white? Come on now. So, Creole is not a race. That ass is black or white. Let's start there. Let's move towards ethnicity. Creole could be argued as an ethnic group because it is an amalgamation of a bunch of shared culture, norms, societal makeup, so on and so forth. So you could argue that it is very much an ethnic group. However, it does have a lesser leg to stand on due to the fact that unless your people were legitimately here before Louisiana came underneath American rule and you are black, you are 100% African American. Our ancestors came from the continent of Africa, and we are American citizens. Bottom line, not only that, even if your people were here before that time, we came under a different national rule. We are not under French rule anymore. And your people did not hail from France. We're in America. We are American citizens, and our people have been here for hundreds of years at this stage. So even as an ethnic group, it kind of has a lesser leg to stand on. And also, I know a lot of times in Louisiana, we try and like separate our culture from a lot of other things in different areas. I would argue that some of our cultural practices align a lot more with other African American groups than they do Creole necessarily, because a lot of the Creole history has been lost. Actually, I'm sorry, it's been washed away. I misspoke. it's been washed away. So like, we can't negate the things that we share as a group of African Americans. We cannot negate that. And then nationality, Creole does not have a leg to stand on because there's no fucking country of Creole. When you find one, let me know. I would love to know where that's at. Print that on a map for me. I would love to see it. So I say all that to say, you can be black or white and still be Creole. But even with you being Creole, that ass is still black or white. You do not lose your racial makeup because of something that we identify as a community, or because of a shared history. Let's not forget that. So again, when it comes to that black lady who's saying that she ain't black, and that white lady who's saying that she ain't white, be for real. In Louisiana, that ass is white. And definitely outside of Louisiana, where them people have no context, for the most part, about, again, that shared history and shared culture, you was definitely white. Not only that, should you have been alive during colonial Louisiana, you would have benefited from being white and being a white woman. Let's be clear. Just like you benefit from it now. So don't try and don't. I just got pissed off again.
He did an excellent job of clearing this up. Creole is not a skin color and it's not a race. Creoles exist all over the world, just not in Louisiana, so they don't have the last word on Creoles. So anyway, y'all, we have to do this straight and we have to set people straight because we have been too nice and people have been dumping on us for too long. So we just need to let them know you're not that important. We don't need you. Goodbye. Okay, y'all, give me a thumbs up and have a good day.